Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy from Emmy Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. So, quick reminder. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Anyways, quick reminder, I am going live tomorrow for that 555 fire ceremony. It's a portal date on top of a lunar eclipse. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I don't know if you guys can feel the energies ramping up. I definitely can. I can't say that I like it. So, I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I heard is approaching that climax. What is going on? You guys are you're approaching something, some type of climax of some kind. I hope you enjoy it, whatever that is. Anyways, just shuffling the cards, picking some cards. I'm going to try and make this a quick one. Good luck with that. I always try to make it quick and always, let's not even start. But I'm going to try and make this quick because it's my night for dinner and I have yummy things to make. Yummy things. I'm very excited. I had some ideas of the types of flavors that I wanted to explore, flavors and textures. Inspiration, Let's see how it works out. I don't know if it's going to be good. I don't. We'll figure it out though. We shall figure it out. All right. Oh, let's get, okay. I'm not even going to shuffle this. I'm just going to be like 1 and then 2. Push them all down and in, and then we'll take one at the bottom. 3. Okay. Slamming things. Okay. Okay, fine. I thought I was done, but I'm told to shuffle this deck. Fine. I shall shuffle this deck. Okay, one more shuffle. Okay. Here we go. Okay. We are now ready. Okay. So breathe very deep and very slow. I feel like this is going to be intense. Okay. Just breathe very deep and very slow. Oh. All right. Maybe I should have ate before I started. I feel my irritation rising. Okay. There's some things that are going on, and there's this possibility of there's a possibility of you or someone else approaching a moment of cockamania's idea. You're getting some type of idea. I'm feeling very attacked right now. I'm just saying. You're approaching a space of getting this idea to do something you should not do. Don't do it. And I think if you just sit and think of what it is you were considering, you're going to realize oh, I know exactly what she's talking about. You're about to set yourself up. Don't do it. Approaching that climax, right? Things are getting real intense. The intensity is increasing. Um, if you do what you're thinking, if you do what you're thinking of doing just because like you're irked or whatever, you're not going to be able to come back from that. You're not going to be able to come back from that, and it's going to be something that you just really will not like the outcome. Okay? Mercury retrograde. We're in Mercury retrograde, and when we enter into that type of retrograde cycle, sometimes we have cockamamie-ass ideas. Sometimes you just, slow it down, make sure you really make sure that you really, really allow yourself, like really, really allow yourself to consider and reconsider and reconsider and reconsider again. Use high levels of discernment. See why you want to do the things you're thinking you should do. Is it just, is it a petty thing? Is it you kind of just you're having a rough moment? Is that what it is? You're having a rough moment and you're like, I remember I was having a really rough couple months. If it's true. I was having a really rough couple months, and you can always tell how rough things have been because I'll take it out on my hair. I've learned to just not, right? I've learned to just not, just leave it alone, leave it alone. But during that period, I had such a rough I'm getting hives. I had such a rough couple months that I went ahead, I got my husband's clippers, and I gave myself a pixie cut. Luckily, he caught me before I could shave it all off because I was going to shave my head bald. Not even joking. I just didn't want my hair. And I was going to just shave it all off. But instead, because he caught me and he was being so super supportive and loving, I was like, I don't want him to be stuck walking with me with a shaved head. And then he's going to worry if I'm okay. So I'll just give myself a pixie cut. Right? So just don't, whatever cockamamie-ass idea you're having, pick something else. Do something else. Right? Do something else. This is just part of the cycles. We're in cycles right now. We're in spaces where there's a lot of agitation. There's a lot of like, I don't know. I did rock it. I like to tell myself that I did rock it. I don't know that I rocked it. I don't know that I rocked it. That's neither here nor there, you know? I think you can rock anything, like any type of hairstyle, whether it looks good or not. I think you can make it look good based on how unapologetic you were or you are when you have that style. Um, I remember when I went to the hospital to go see my mom and I had cut my hair. Because my mom has no filter. And she was looking at me like, and then I asked her, "Do you like my haircut?" And she goes, "No, you look ugly." Why did you do that to your hair? I was like, and then my oldest brother happens to walk into the hospital. We didn't coordinate, but I mean, he happened to want to visit her same time that I was arriving. He took one look at me and he's like, "Mom, your daughter is going through something. She fucked up her hair." I was just like, you guys are just but a little bit of dark eyeliner, just be like, I don't give a damn. And a whole bunch of other people were like, "Oh my god, that so suits you. You look so badass." I think if you're apologetic, um, about a decision you've made, that opens the door for people to become hypercritical of your decisions, your aesthetics, all of that. And because when I make bold decisions, when I make bold decisions, I own that decision. And so people have a tendency to not even consider the other side of the spectrum of what they're thinking. So these cycles are going to tap into your passion, right? When you allow yourself to really just move and flow through all of this, what's going to end up happening is you're going to become aware of the areas where you have stagnant energy. Stagnant energy is going to prevent the climax. You want climax, right? Stop. 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 Let us go ahead and define that word. Okay. The most intense, exciting, or important point of something, a culmination or apex. Culminate in an exciting or impressive event. Reach a climax. Okay. Okay. Ecology, the final stage of succession in a given environment at which a plant community reaches a state of equilibrium. Ooh, I love that. In rhetoric, it's a sequence of propositions or ideas in order of increasing importance, force, or effectiveness of expression. See what I'm saying? All you guys ever think about is a boom, boom, wow. It's not always about the boom, chica, wow, wow. I'm saying, so like I said earlier, you want a climax, right? Right? Mhm. It really sucks that I keep having to redirect your brain away from sexual innuendo. I'm not being sexual. Okay? Had enough people tell me I just ooze sexuality. Yo, seriously. Enough people have told me that I feel like I have to explain myself. So I'm explaining myself. I don't mean climax in sexual whatever. I'm talking about everything else. All right. Things are reaching a fever pitch. I don't know. I don't know what the thing is. It's reaching a fever pitch. It's getting super duper intense. You notice how the speed of my communication is increasing as well. Mhm. I can feel the energy. Okay, I gotta hurry up because I'm hungry. Okay. Hmm. Concealment in reverse, like they can't hide this anymore. You can't hide this. I don't know who they is. I'm assuming it's you. Y'all can't hide this no more. I don't know. This is going not so good. I don't know how you guys are taking this. It is stage 2.75 of hangry. You guys, I'm not trying to be sexual with you. I can feel there's some people who are taking this as like, is she ovulating? Leave my ovaries alone. They're none of your business. I said what I said. Don't you be paying no mind to my ovaries and what they're doing, okay? You are not my husband. He pays extra my ovaries could be walking around a campfire butt booty naked singing kumbaya, still none of your business. I don't know what my ovaries are doing. I don't. That's none of your business anyways. Okay. Anyways, exactly, Lexi. It's intense energy. You know? It's intense energy. And it's just I don't know. It's going to continue to intensify. Now you're going to be given guidance, but the guidance is not going to instruct you on how to clear things out. What's going to happen is The guidance is going to point out how you've been very upside down in your perception regarding a homecoming, that you are not allowed to cleanse from your template. Oh. Mhm. 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 All right. Know that you are safe and secure to begin creating. Okay? You can begin creating. I don't know what you're creating. Hopefully it's not a headache for yourself. I don't know what you're being given the green light to create, but no. I'm no longer going to extend myself in that way. No. So you guys are being instructed to allow for um, an opportunity to be harvested and harnessed. So your soul has given you an opportunity for something. You might know what it is already, or you might kind of, I don't know, maybe be more like me and be oblivious to it. Are you being oblivious? I don't know. Maybe. Who knows? Whatever that opportunity is, you need to begin really just softly, softly, the tender touch. You really need to just begin a very gentle communication within yourself. You need to know where you're headed and what you're supposed to do. I feel like whatever it is that you're supposed to do is going to be tied directly into your cottage, your home, right? And then of course there was also, excuse me, that homecoming card, not realizing that what you're being tasked to do is going to be the very thing that most greatly benefits your home. Let me see. The hearth is like the stone area around the fireplace, right? Floor of a fireplace. Okay. The floor in front of a fireplace. It's kept for home heating and for cooking. Hmm. So basically, here, look, the definition of hearth is that it's like the stones that are either the floor or in front of or the surround of a fireplace. But here's the thing, look at this. I feel like this is telling us that you're actually a phoenix on the rise. You're going to need that stone to protect the home. You don't want the whole home to burn down when you enter into that phoenix mode, right? Um, let's see, there's one more thing. Meaning a large pot, like brazier, a portable furnace in which fire was kept in the king's winter apartment. Okay. Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. Thank you, Jeremiah 36:22. What does hearth mean in spirituality? Levator. Okay, a spiritual link between past, present, future generations of the tribe, linking ancestors to the family today and descendants tomorrow. Hearth is also a term for a family unit or a local worship group in the heathen religion. Bitch, who you calling a heathen? What? Okay. Um, so whatever decision you make, whatever this is about, it absolutely is some type of massive event that will link all of the past to all of the present and then also affect future. Be careful how you approach this. Okay? Be careful how you approach this, being completely serious right now. Don't create unnecessary miasma. Miasma is frozen light code. It's another more clinical term, scientific term for karma, Don't create miasma, because if you create miasma from this, it's going to be long lasting. I know you ain't talking to me. Michael's telling you guys, Michael is telling you guys, uh, you better not block anyone. He said, you, he said, you, you better not block anyone. Because I know this bitch ain't talking to me like that. He must be talking to you guys. Are you okay with him talking to you this way? I mean, are you okay with him talking to you this way? I totally would correct him if I was you, but I'm not you, thank God. So, I'm just saying, who was he pointing at when he said you? Well, I saw him over here and he's like, you. I don't know which one of you he's pointing at, but I know it wasn't me because he was from here and he was pointing like um ooh 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 shoo-doo-doo dum shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo-dum shoo-doo-doo-doo-doo dum. We were as one, babe, for one moment in time. That you will always be mine. So you wanna be free? I'ma let you fly. He was exactly, Lisa. Exactly. Hmm. It's all good, you know? It's all good. I told him don't talk to you guys like that. I'm just saying. So, um, whoever you're planning on blocking, don't block them. Leave them alone. I'm sure you guys have left them alone. Whoever this is for you, I'm sure you've left them alone, right? Because we're talking about sovereignty. Um, you know, sometimes I wish a motherfucker would just block me. Do me a favor and block me so that we can get off the merry-go-round. Just block me. It's a button. It's a button. It's a button. Press it. Just press it. He says, stop singing that. You don't like my singing? Oh, why would I put that on the screen? Michael says to put your comment on the screen. Lisa, are you an agent of darkness? Are you here representing Michaela? There's a difference between blocking and ignoring, though. That's just not definitive enough. Like, ignoring is just not definitive enough. I need concrete concrete things to use to negate. Card number 34, in the world, not of the world, but it's in reverse. Uh-huh. In the world, not of the world, but it's in reverse. So not only are you in this world, you're behaving like you're of this world. And what's going to need to happen is you need to stop playing the sacred fool for your insecurities, right? So maybe you had to take a specific type of action. I don't know what. And you were instructed to do that by soul repeatedly ad nauseum over a prolonged, protracted period. um, oh, what is this? Full body systems preview. What are you? Okay. I wish I wish I had time. It's just so freaking frustrating. Do you know how many classes I want to take and how many things I want to be certified in, but I just don't have time? It's just anyways, stop playing a sacred fool for your insecurities, okay? It's something it's something that's difficult for you to do if you won't admit to yourself what your insecurities are, right? Um do you know what your insecurities are? Which ones are being exacerbated right now? Which ones are being poked by life? You know, to poke. Which one? If you haven't taken the time to really just, look things in the eyes. Um, I don't know how you would look an insecurity in the eyes. I'm assuming it doesn't have eyes, but maybe your insecurities are needing some attention from you is the thing. Oh, yikes. Oh, that could that could mean so many different things. That could mean so many different things. I will leave it up to you how you interpret that. Restore and replenish. You don't have the luxury of curling into a ball and waiting until you feel absolutely restored and replenished. This is a very excitable period that we're in, and this period is leading towards some very, very tumultuous type things. Okay. Um, is tumultuous simply negative? Tumultuous. Okay. Making a loud, confused noise, uproarious, excited, confused, or disorderly. Tempestuous, turbulent, passionate. Okay. Marked by violent or overwhelming turbulence or upheaval. That's not good. Full of tumult or righteousness. Marked by disturbance and uproar. A tumultuous celebration. Okay, it could be good, it could be bad. It's just really something intense. Okay. Okay. Ooh, okay. I was told to click on this. A tumultuous relationship is essentially an overpowered relationship in terms of physical and emotional manifestations. Couples are more inclined to feel more and express more. This can be good, but it can also be a bad thing, especially if it causes pain for either of you. So, you know, it's just one of those things. If knowledge is power, knowing what you don't know is wisdom. No. By technicality, you don't know what you don't know. And also by technicality, knowledge and wisdom, it's like the difference between a noun and a verb. Knowledge is the noun and wisdom is the action. When you apply the knowledge, it's now moving, flowing, living knowledge, which is wisdom. So knowing what you don't know is wisdom. No, at least from my standpoint. I could be wrong though. Because I mean, how do you know what you don't know? Because I don't know. That question alone would keep me stuck for hours. How do you know what you don't know? You can't, right? I'm gonna be stuck on that question all night. Seriously, how do you make Emmy shut up? You ask her questions like that. Because then I'm going to be like, well, if there's a way you could actually get a syllabus from an instructor, even though you don't know the content, reading the syllabus could help you to know what you don't know. But then at the same time, you still won't know what you don't know because you don't know what those concepts are. Right? So, yeah. I don't know. Does anyone know if you can know what you don't know? I don't think you can. I think it's a paradoxical thing. How do you not know what you don't know? That's a really good question. That's a really good question. At which point, knowing that you don't know and allowing it to just be, would it then be wisdom because you would need to accept that which you've never held? Shit. Seriously, would that then be the wisdom? Because now you're applying the knowledge of accepting the unknown. And how you move through that knowing of not knowing would be another layer of wisdom applied. This is too much for my brain. This is too much for my brain. Well, okay, so Anyaya brings this up, right? Sometimes we truly do not know, and we do not know that we do not know. That's what the reference to how can one take himself out the box when he has never heard of a box gets at. But here's the thing, you can still get yourself out of the box without knowing what a box is, because even though you can't see it and you have no knowledge of it, you can feel it. There's a tangibility to it, which then it's like knowing the unknown and accepting it for what it is, something you've never held tangibly in your thoughts, but something you're aware of to a certain degree. My brain, stop. Stop. I will continue this for hours. I used to love going to the mall with my parents when I was very little because they would go to, I think it's Natural Wonders. It's some natural store. And they have all this like Natural Geographic type, um, I don't know, products or whatever. And they would also have wooden puzzles that were just they were allegedly impossible for other people to solve, and I would spend the entire time my parents were at the mall there in that store playing with those puzzles because damn it, I'm gonna solve it. And I often did. They would give you a sticker if you solved it, and they'd be like, oh my God, how'd you figure that out? Effort. Focus plus effort equals excellence. Yeah. So, well, for sure, asking questions, whether good or bad, brings the answer that you're seeking. And as you receive that answer and begin to apply it, you then enter into a state of knowing, which the gnosis and the wisdom, all of that. It was called Natural Wonders, right? So, yeah, that was a really good question, though. Um, okay. Card number 2, inner trust in reverse. You don't trust yourself. That's a problem. You have to go through the process and experience the experiences that help to develop your trust in yourself. Follow your own rhythm in reverse. You're not following your rhythm, probably because you're not trusting yourself. You're approaching that climax. This is an intensification, a period of intensification of specific types of triggers that then will initiate specific processes that then turn into, when paired all together, natural, accelerated ascension mechanics. It's completely organic and it's the way soul tends to work, right? Some people think they can Like, for example, and my knowledge of this, therefore, my opinion of this is very limited. So just keep that in mind. A lot of people do ayahuasca, right? And I get the sense that for many people, they think it's what will help them to um, really full force push forward their ascension mechanics. Not really. Not really. And I'll tell you why. What ends up happening when you do ayahuasca, which I've never done ayahuasca, um, what happens when you do ayahuasca is it brings front and center all of the traumas that you have suppressed, the things that are very difficult for you to see on your own. And it begins the process of internal healing, that fragmentation that occurs with your awareness and your individualized, individuated identity. It begins to piece you back together, the ayahuasca ceremony. And once you begin to piece yourself back together, you can then begin to see with clarity the things that all the way up to that point you haven't been able to see. And because you can now see clearly and have had a very tangible spiritual experience, soul based experience, you're now more inclined to begin paying attention to your natural organic ascension mechanics or lack thereof. So, is it initiating an ascension cycle? No. In my humble opinion, as someone who's never done ayahuasca but has studied it extensively, um, I don't believe it triggers an ascension cycle. I believe it clears away the fog from your brain. It's kind of like you got spiritual glaucoma, and ayahuasca is the sucking away. Have you ever seen a glaucoma surgery where they like all that jello in the eye? That's what it's doing. Okay. The things that are obscuring your view of the process that you're currently in and the things that you've been through, that's what it's doing. It's removing that. Right. So there's no way to really force a natural organic ascension cycle. You can work with people who will encourage development of certain areas within your morphogenetic template that will better prime you for when the ascension cycle is initiated by your soul. If that's interesting, is that the same as doing mushrooms? Yes. Yes. Both through different channels will go ahead and activate certain etheric pathways that give you better clarity, better discernment, better understanding. It tends to sometimes temporarily suspend the distortion field. Um, I don't want to get too deep into the topic, but because of the specific types of seals that were affixed onto the planetary grid, that created a lot of distortions. That's why your chakras shut down into a funnel. It created a lot of distortions that really is done quite a bit, and anything that exists on Earth is affected by that distortion field. Um, yes, so it's kind of like resonance used in a detrimental manner. The resonance from deep inside, it shoots up or it's emitted, and as it goes into the upper atmosphere, something something causes it to bounce back down. So it's back and forth, this reverberation that causes further distortion of perception, frequency, all of that. That's what it does. You pair that with a density of flesh, it's a recipe for I don't know and I don't remember. Very, very amazing questions, you guys. So limitless in reverse. You don't believe you're limitless, you know? Uh, I mean, unless you're an organic portal, you are in fact um, in possession of limitless potentiality and capacity. So it's just one of those things. It's one of those things. Would you guys be interested in going to an in-person mushroom event, a retreat, a spiritual retreat where there would be those who are elevated in their field, and their field is spiritual medicine. Would you guys be interested in something like that? That if I hosted that, it would be in person. And it would be way up north around Shasta area. You guys would be interested? Okay. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, but it could be something. Um, I could definitely plan something like that. It would be a very exclusive type event. The information that I would share publicly would be very limited. And, you know, there would be options for various types of sacred medicines. And of course, I would be there too. So, yeah. Someone had presented me this this idea not too long ago, and I just kind of was like, well, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't do any substances at all. I don't even do Tylenol or, yeah. The best you're going to get from me is pumpkin seed oil in gel cap, some glutathione, selenium, zinc. um, you know, it's just one of those things. I would definitely need to look into it much further, but that's something that is, I would consider it if enough people in our community feel like it would very much benefit them and their journey. That's something I could potentially organize. Okay. So be fearless in reverse. Uh, still having that fear, not allowing yourself to move beyond this crippling, this very, very crippling insecurity that keeps popping up, right? I don't know what the insecurity is though. Is it a person? Does a person make you insecure? Um, um, let's see. So surrender in reverse, not wanting to, just not wanting to do whatever it is that your soul is asking you to do, right? I don't have to have the shroom to attend any in-person event you have is going to be fire no matter what. Thank you. Thank you. If I do an event like that, I would think that one portion of the event, either before the rest of the people come or after those people have left, then we will have a separate sacred space for people who are choosing to partake in the medicines, sacred medicines. Okay. This is not going to be like a rager party. It's actually going to be used as sacred medicine. Okay. I just want to make that very clear. I'm not into recreational use of sacred plant material. It kind of disrespects it, right? I'm just saying it kind of disrespects it. So, yeah, we could have it where, one portion, it could be a longer event, more days for people who want to do the plant medicine journey. And then also the option to just be there for X amount of days for those who don't want to partake in that. I completely respect that. Nothing irks me more when people totally trying to force me to do. I'm just like, listen, I don't fucking need medicines Where you go when you're on that is where I fucking live all day. That's where I live all day. Stop it. Leave me alone. That's kind of how I feel. That's literally where I live all day. Um, you know, it's just one of those things. It's just one of those things, right? I don't want people to feel badly if they need to use medicine using proper context, okay, to reach those spaces. But I literally, um, that's where I live. When I went to Peru back in 2018, I think 2017, 2018, whenever that was, I went to Peru, and at the airport, we were about to leave New Jersey. We're about to leave Jersey, and I was like, should I? I'm so scared. Should I do ayahuasca in Peru? And I was looking for actual traditional shaman, right? I was willing to trek into the jungle, go to a fucking village and do that. But I was like, I got to make sure they can handle me and my energy if I'm incapacitated because. And one of my really good friends, Charmaine from Holding Space, phenomenal. She's done ayahuasca several times. She shared it publicly. Phenomenal brain, that beautiful, beautiful goddess of a woman. And I messaged her. I was seeking her counsel because she's very honest. Her and I resonance like you wouldn't believe. And I was like, "Hey, do you feel like I should do ayahuasca while I'm in Peru?" She goes, "For what?" I was like, "I don't know." I don't know. I mean, should I? She goes, "Don't you already exist in that space?" And I was like, "Well, I've never done ayahuasca, so I don't know." And she goes, "Well, I have. And I could have sworn you're already there. Like everything you talk about, yeah, I don't think you need to." And I was like, "Oh, thank God." Oh, thank God. Because I don't know what's going to happen if I do. And she goes, "Yeah, no, I don't. I think you, of all people, don't need any of that to reach those places because that's already where you exist. And I actually struggle to come down and be human. That's the biggest struggle for me, not to reach higher places. So I completely respect when people don't want to or don't need to. I completely respect that. We're not going to do anything just because everyone else is doing it. That's not. Mm-mm, mm-mm. But, but I am aware of someone who is very, very well informed and they actually grow spores. So, okay. And before I would plan the event, I would actually go to their farm. Excuse me. I would actually go to their farm and I would need to commune with everything they're growing. Like, do you guys know that? Now, remember that CBD company that I had become an affiliate for, Durango Botanicals? I actually went to the farm where they grow all of that. I went there, and a lot of the reason why I resonated with it, first, the grower is Blu-ray. He's Blu-ray. And then secondly, the land, it's on a freaking vein of energy. Third, the water they use, they tapped into an artesian flow of underground water. It's artesian water. That's what they're watering the CBD with, the hemp. And then on top of that, I felt the way everything was grown is just so beautiful, such a resonance. The plants, the material, when it's grown in specific areas, and I know this grower is all the way up by Shasta. Hello, Telos. Telos. That's a Lemurian city. It's inside Shasta. It extends underground for quite a bit. Where they're growing, it's Lemurian mushrooms. They don't know this yet. They don't know this. So, I'm just saying. I'm filtered through Lemuria. Yes. That's why it's like it's a whole nother level, but I would need to see um, the integrity of how they run their business and all of that. Because if it's not in alignment, I'm not doing it. I'm just very picky. I'm very, very picky. I'm not trying to get possessed. You don't give Gandalf the ring ever. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No, I'm good off that. But I think they have integrity too. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Um, we'll talk about it more in the Soul Sanctuary, our private chats. I don't want to talk about it too much here on public live streams. Card number 22, Mother Earth. You're really being encouraged to come back into this space, this human space, right? Um, it's kind of this thing of too many of us have made it our sole goal, like singular goal, to reach higher levels of awareness, higher levels of consciousness, right? Your consciousness is infinite. It goes beyond the 15 um, levels of this time space matrix. It goes far beyond that. And for many of us, it's like we're trying to reach these levels that are just like, no, but you don't need that. What you need is to anchor deeply because a tree can only grow as tall as its roots are deep or wide, right? Some of the tallest trees in the world, I believe sequoias. Let's see. I believe um I believe their roots go out. The giant sequoia develops no permanent taproot or other roots that extend deep into the ground. But sometimes a single root may grow out near the surface for as much as 200 or 300 feet. That's a big root system. It spreads, you know what I mean? So you can't be confined. You can't exist like a confined root ball. If you want to grow tall, if you want to reach towards your divinity, you have to allow yourself to spread out and expand, right? Part of that is understanding your self-worth at every level of your every stage and every level of your development. For many of us, we think that we're only sacred and holy once we reach a certain part. That's just not true. It's not true, right? Allow yourself to shine while you're on your sacred journey. Part of the reason you need to shine is that you will be able to encourage and inspire so many other people as they see you doing your thing. You know, um, I don't think my journey is, impressive or anything like that. I just honestly don't. It's just a journey. Um, but what comes to mind is this question of how has it affected you personally, witnessing me on my personal journey, just doing my thing, being myself? Has it inspired you? Has it caused you to rise in your perception of yourself, your worth, your purpose, what you're capable of? Has everything shifted for you as you've gone through these different cycles and processes? Seeing me go through something similar, has it made you feel like, well, oh, okay, I'm not weird then? Oh, I'm not weak. Wait, she's going through it too. So it's like, what? I was just looking at KOA and Mount Shasta to go. Boo. I mean, I'm a little bit savage. I'm like tribal savage. When I would go camping at Shasta, I would go on BLM land, and there's no bathrooms, no nothing. But there's this one little campsite, and I mean, there's a running stream behind the campsite. and you're just surrounded by nature, and it's completely free. And you can be there for, I believe, up to 2 weeks. Completely free. No one's gonna bother you. I'm just saying. That's how I camp. People hate camping with me because yeah. Yeah. There no technology, no nothing. You literally out in the wilderness with a little you just get your buck knife. You dig a hole in the ground and then you cover it up when you're done. It's all good. um I think it's like in McLeod, or I'll have to ask my husband. I'll have to ask my husband, and then I'll let you know, you know? Do you guys like to camp like that too? I'm saying. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. It was so fun until the aliens came and started like walk, 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 walk in the sky. And I was just like, okay, stop. Because you're freaking me out. They were doing some type of harmonic resonance in the upper atmosphere. And it was like, yeah. Have you guys seen those videos where there's this like loud trumpet sound across the entire city? Yeah, I experienced that in real life in 2003. 2006? No, 2006. It was insane. It happened by Pluto Caves. And then after that, we went over to Panther Meadows where I was sitting on a huge rock, just meditating by myself. And I thought beneath the lower parking area, I thought people were doing tribal drumming. And I was like, oh, that's cute. And I just kept my eyes closed. And then I felt someone watching me from the tree line, like pretty far away. And I opened my eyes and I looked, and it was this guy. It was this guy in like an open chested tunic, tunic vest. It's the weirdest shit. And he had blonde hair, and he was like, and he was like waving me over. And I was like, no. And he was like, come. And I was like, no, you're a stranger. So I very quickly went back to the car where my husband and my kids were, my kid. And I asked my husband, did you guys hear all that drumming? And he goes, no one's drumming. And I was like, shut up. He goes, nobody's drumming. And I was like, what do you mean? No, you can hear it. And he's like, nobody's drumming. And I was like, did you see that white dude by the trees? He's all like bare chested and stuff. He's like, there was no white dude by the trees. You didn't see him? He was waving me over. And he's like, I was watching you the whole time. There was no white dude by the trees. And I was like, well, that was just weird. Maybe you didn't see him. But I almost got kidnapped by a white hippie in the trees. And you know what it was? Yes, Mindy, yes. Years later, hold on, I'll show you a picture. Someone was talking about this dude. I didn't know. Someone was talking about this dude named Adma. And I was like, what? Why does that sound so familiar? Well, because. And I was like, wait, what? Adma? I'll show you guys. I'll show you. Looked very similar. Except his shirt was open. This dude. This guy. Except his shirt was open. And I was like, who is that? You guys, he's from Telos. I was like, oh my God, is he bad? And then the person was like, you've never heard of Atma? And I was like, I don't know. The name sounds familiar, but I don't think I know anything about Atma. And when I looked at that picture, I was like, oh, that's the guy from Shasta. They're like, oh my God. I was like, yes. He kept waving at me to come to him. I was like, I don't know you, motherfucker. I don't know you. I thought he was going to kidnap me because he was so intense and like, come here. Come here. I was like, no, I don't want to. I thought he was going to take me. And what he was really going to do was he was going to take me into Talos. I don't know. They might have kept me there forever. They would have been like, she's fun. She don't got to go home. Oh, shit. Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, that was just too much. I was like, that's too much. That's too much. I can't, I'm never meditating here again. It's too much. I almost got abducted by inner earth aliens. Yeah. So I don't know. Sorry. Have I seen him after that? No, because the other times that I went to Shasta, I was really scared. I was like really, really scared. And I was just like, please don't scare me like that. And I never saw him again after that. I guess it was a one-time invitation. I don't know. Who knows? So move forward in reverse. Again, same message. You're stuck. You're stuck. These are cycles to help rebirth your magic. Don't betray yourself. Okay. So these are cycles to help rebirth your magic. Don't betray yourself. Okay. That's probably what freaked me out as I saw nipples. I did. He was bare chested. He was wearing like this like creamish light tan colored leather. It's like a leather tunic, and the collar, the inner lining of the collar had kind of like almost like a rabbit fur, white rabbit fur, not completely white, but it looked very, and then there were nipples. I was like, no. I'm so averse to the nipples of men. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Ugh. All right, let's see. So, galactic heritage. During this period, there's a lot that's going on, right? And whatever it is that's going on, you have to flow. Do not block. Is that what you mean? Blocking yourself? Could mean different things, right? He didn't look like an alien, you know? He didn't look like an alien. He looked like a human being, a full-on human being. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the vest, it wasn't buttoned shut. So, it opened. And he was going like this to me. So, of course, it's going to keep opening. And I was just like, no, no. No, he did. His nipples didn't look alien. It looked human. You guys. You guys. Okay. Dispel darkness in reverse. The darkness is there to keep things cloaked. I think processes that are private for you. Okay. Don't be scared of the darkness. There's going to be some shadow that wraps around you. Not a lot, just enough to kind of help you to feel enveloped, safe, cocooned. But definitely let yourself go through the process. He was not built like Fabio. That's the thing. He was like lean, with like an athletic build, but not overly like Hollywood developed build. Because in Hollywood, the typical Hollywood build, they overdevelop the shoulders, the traps, and the chest to give you more of a masculine gorilla appearance, right? So, okay, this awakened gnosis, it has to do with what you don't know. I feel strongly that Shiman Renee's question earlier, it ties into this. You don't know what you don't know, right? So you can't go around creating blockages for yourself, trying to divert your energy and force it to flow in certain spaces that it should not be flowing in right now. There's a proper time and place for the flow of energy through your entire field, but not all at the same time. Not all the pathways are going to be flowing that energy at the same time. So you gotta, chill out. It's hard. I have no chill. What the fuck? Okay. I'm just weirded out. I'm just weirded out. Okay. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves me. Oh, yes, he does. Renewal. Things are going to be renewed. You're going to be fine. Things are going to be renewed. Okay. I know for many of you, many of us, you're approaching spaces where you're feeling heavily depleted. Don't worry. You're going to get through this. Okay. Card number 32, ancestral magic. For those of us who allow the flow, it's going to flow through pathways that will help you to tap into your ancestral magic, the powers and knowledge cultivated by your ancestors. That's powerful. Being able to not commune, but be aware of ancestors who have not healed ancestral wounds, um, these ancestors who still exist inside a space of consciousness void, being able to observe them and know how their decisions, being able to witness how their decisions and distortions have kept them trapped in cycles, in loops, mental loops that can be so powerful if done correctly. If not done correctly, you're going to be so wildly fucking out of control with your ego and have zero idea. And it's going to affect everyone you come into contact with. Jesus loves us. Oh, yes, he does. Jesus loves us. Oh, yes, he does. Except for people with wildly out of control egos. Jesus doesn't love you. He's irritated by you. Get back in control. Get back in control. Okay? Okay. Did you know there was a Yeshua Barabbas? Barabbas. Yeshua Barabbas. Go look it up. 2 people were placed in front of Pontius Pilate that day. One was considered criminal. The other one, Son of God. The crowd selected Yeshua Barabbas. Go look it up. And then look up Kashmir. I'm just saying, parts of the truth are resurfacing. You have to allow the things that happened through your ancestry to resurface. It'll give you a better understanding of where you draw your personal power from. Stop trying to identify as a people or a nation or a culture that doesn't actually truly belong to you. And I'm not talking about cultural misappropriation or anything like that. We should all celebrate each other's culture. I'm talking about the knowledge, even tiny infinitesimal little bit of knowledge about your true ancestry will give you a massive idea of the type of power you have a birthright to access. It's powerful. I looked a little bit into my ancestry, not through ancestry.com or anything like that, not genetics, about the region that I come from. It's interesting. I've heard Filipinos talk about Maharlika before, but I've never heard them talk about the relation between Maharlika and Lemuria. Some Lemurians were known to have beautiful eyes, different shades. I remember that. I also remember my great-grandmother who, I think I must have been 7 or 8 when she passed. And I have a photographic memory. I remember from before I was 1 year old. I remember laying in her hospital bed with her. We kept her at home. In my culture, you take care of your elders at home. And I remember whenever I would come and visit, I would lay in her hospital bed with her. And she would be so giggle with me. Do you know what giggle is? Like, woo! And she would like, pinch me and stuff. Just like, stop. And she just, yeah, she loved it. She loved having all her grandchildren come around her, and I think I was her favorite because I was always the one, or I was the only one that was dumb enough to come into the bed because she would be on the bed. I mean, she became invalid at the last portion of her life, but I figured it was there was the blue check on the bed. It's not gonna get on me. It did, but I was a kid, and so I remember her eyes being a shade of blue, this weird shade of blue, and it was splotches through the eyes. And I just figured as a child that it was because of her cataracts and all sorts of eye issues. And then I remember quite a few years back, we were already adults. One of my older cousins, who's much older than me, meaning she had so much more time with our great grandmother still in a much younger state. She just randomly shares this information that like, yeah. And my grandmother's name was Inanna. Look that up. Her name was Inanna. And my cousin told us that her eyes were purple. And I was like, you mean like contacts? She goes, no one ever told you. I was like, who talks to me? No one ever talks to me. And then of course my other cousin's like, because you're mute all the time. Who's going to talk to you when you're mute? You can totally count on family, to be honest. So yeah, no, her eyes were purple. Naturally purple with no injury. She's had violet eyes her whole life. It became blue because of the cataracts. Whatever it did with her purple eyes, it became like a just like a turquoise. It was fucking weird. And I was just like, are you half white? It's like, girl. And then if you look, there are tribes, mountain tribes in the Philippines, where they look more more, what do you call it? Aboriginal, like Australian Aborigines, very similar. They're indigenous to the Philippines, and their eyes are like ice blue. Their hair is like a golden to light blonde. So, but she didn't look like them. I don't know. I don't know, but definitely it helps me to understand um, why I can reach the capacity that I can sometimes tap into when necessary, right? And then my grandmother, that came from my great grandmother, her daughter, was a medical intuitive and a hands on healer. So when you know the type of bloodline you come from, you lose your fear of the way you were gifted with very unique, tremendous power. If I didn't know that, all that as a child, like my grandma could heal people, I would be scared that I could actually x ray, ultrasound, MRI your whole fucking body by just looking at you. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize that's what I was doing until 2016. My mother was in the hospital with yet another stroke. And the neurologist was typing, and I asked him, was the stroke right here about an inch into her cranial space? And he stopped typing. He looks back at me. And he's like, did someone already come in here and talk to you guys? And I was like, you don't know. You're the first person to come in. And he's like, how did you know that? The right side of her brain, above her eyebrow, an inch into the brain. I should not have known that. Why? Because it was the right side of her face that drooped. I should have assumed it was the left side of her brain, but I knew it was the right side. It affected her circle of Willis, circulation around the brain. I told him all of this. I asked him, if you know at least a little portion of your true ancestry, you'll begin to understand, you'll begin to grasp the gravity of your existence. All of these powerful people choosing to incarnate in order to gift you with their power, their knowledge, their experience. Do you know how many people had to come together to create the culmination of you? I mean, that alone should give you an understanding to some degree of how important you are. That's an importance that most people cannot even quantify. Most people can't even. It'll be okay. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If I go and think about it, so that's my mother's side. My father's side, I don't know. I never met my grandparents, my grandfather. But I've heard people talking about how he was actually Spaniard. And it's this sense when I look at some of my genetic profiling, etheric genetics, it's this sense that it's like a hint or a filtering through the Basque region. And then I have all of the, I don't test as RH negative, but I have all of the symptoms of RH negative when I'm pregnant. My body starts rejecting me. Not the babies, me. My bodies are like, girl, we will kill you. To pair Basque lineage with that other lineage, I mean, there was no other way for me to end up than how I ended up right now. So I no longer have to be apologetic for being who I am. I merely have to go through the process of accepting it. Does that mean I'm better than anyone? No. It just means I better understand why I'm so different. Right? So, card number 27, intuition sigil. Allowing your intuition to very much guide you, help you to navigate all of these different areas of your life. There are aspects of your past lives that are trying to come forward And they can't come forward unless you allow your frequency to climax, to reach the highest levels it potentially can reach during this cycle, during this period. I'm telling y'all, this is a powerful period. So, for this particular fire ceremony that's coming up tomorrow, I went ahead and I made certain types of certain expedite options available, right? And the reason these expedite options are available is because they will very, very, very heavily and powerfully support this process for you. If we're going to be honest, I would rather not do a fire ceremony with the frequencies that high. Because I already know. I already know it's going to be intense. But this is a period that our community cannot pass up. This will set you up for at least 5 to 7 years. 5 to 7 years. We will all be protected during this. Okay? We're all going to be protected during this. During this fire ceremony, it's going to be perfectly fine, okay? Let's see. I'm just going to quickly go over these last 3 cards. I got to get going because I got to make dinner already. I think the stuff that I prepared is finally ready. All right, so card number 29, 5th house, creativity. Every child is an artist. The problem is staying an artist when you grow up. Allowing all of these different external components that you should not allow to affect you to that degree, allowing them to affect you to that degree. That's you can't let that happen. Any suggestions on what to get? For the fire ceremony, I would highly suggest you get whatever it is that you're drawn to, whether you understand what the description is saying about the expedite or not. If you're drawn to it, if you keep going back, trying to understand what that is, that's probably for you. It's probably for you because your higher self is already guiding you. Okay. So 5th house, creativity. The bliss of childhood, creativity, the stage, staying open, hobbies, having fun, festivities, free expression. This card is all about finding joy and creativity and self-expression with promise of a jubilant return to childhood. Childhood is one of the most powerful, most perfect stages in our entire human life. Why? Because we still embody our entire potentiality. We have not yet fallen into the loops, into the programs that tell us we can only be this, we can only be that, that we are seen as this character and that's the only thing we will ever be. In childhood, you are still in that space of like, if we were to make the analogy with biology, you're a stem cell. You can be anything that you are placed in the environment of. You're going to return back to that state. That means all of the changes that you need in order to get to the type of life that you want. Now is the time to grab hold of it. I cannot emphasize that enough. Now is the time to grab hold of it. Okay. Card number 37, fire element, desire. Passion, though a bad regulator, is a powerful spring. So you have to allow yourself to use your passion, but you have to know that your ability to control that, to regulate yourself, it's going to be tested. You're going to be brought to the cusp of losing control. Pull yourself back in before you teeter over that edge. Okay? See this visual. You're standing at the edge of a cliff. You can let your toes hang over but the rest of your feet need to be on the other side of the edge, and you need to be leaning back. You're not going to be leaning over with your toes over. You can lose your balance that way. You can come right to the edge of something and still do it in a safe manner. You can still do things in a safe manner. But if you're not going to pay attention and you're going to be very brazen without having the skills to keep you safe while you're being bold and brazen, well, then you're just endangering yourself. That's unnecessary. It's unnecessary and it's immature. It's an unnecessary risk. I'm not about unnecessary risks. When I feel it's an unnecessary risk, I'm good. I'm out. I'm all about taking risks, but it has to be something that will further whatever my soul is instructing me to do. It can't just be an unnecessary risk just to see. It's just not how it works. That is not how it works. All right. So, key ideas: getting started, pushing ahead, strength, courage, daring, passion, arousal. Others may claim they're speaking to you from a place of truth and concern, whereas they may not understand the situation very well and not offer the best advice. So, only you will know what you need to start, what you need to keep pushing forward. Are you confiding something very, very sensitive to someone else and they're telling you, instructing you, and it's in opposition to what your heart is making you feel you should do? That's an unnecessary risk. You're risking a prolonging of your suffering and pain. Also, that you could listen to someone else so that what they can take the blame if things fall apart. I tell you this, for the people who need someone else to tell them, to validate their decision for them in order for them to follow through with that decision, if you mess up, you're still the only one that's going to have to live with the consequence of that decision. People can give you all the advice they want, but at the end of the day, at the end of that circumstance, only you have to live with that end result. I had this one person that was in my life for a bit. And we got pretty cool after a certain period. And it was my ex-sister-in-law. My ex-sister-in-law, I still love her. I love her. And she's really into body modifications and stuff, plastic surgery stuff, injectables. That's her thing. Whatever. That's her thing. And it took me about 8, maybe 9, I don't know, between 8 to 10 years. 8 to 10 years to be civil with her, because really, yeah, she held on for 8 to 10 years for me to begin treating her like a sister. I'm telling y'all, I got stamina like a motherfucker. And I remember once we actually, I finally let her in, and we would talk often and stuff. And I made the mistake of once asking her, she had just gotten her lips done. It was like brand new. This when injectables first came out. She had just gotten her lips done, and I asked her, do you think that I should get anything done to my face? Is there anything that you would tell me that I should do? Oh my fucking God. All the spaces she would have injected. And then because I opened that door, she then felt it was all good to talk to me about all the different things that I could have done. It's just not my thing. It's just this is the face that I have, and this is going to be the face that I have. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, right? I'm okay with that. It's okay. It's okay for me to age. It's okay for my face to change as I age. Had I listened to her and she wasn't criticizing me, um, she's just very, that's her thing. Makes her excited, makes her feel good to modify things. And, she's not a bad person. That was her thing. I'm sure I would have regretted doing any of that to my face or any part of my body. And guess who would have had to live with that? Me. Me. I would have had to live with that. It would have made no difference for me to intellectualize, but she told me to do it. It's her fault. No, it's still going to be my face. It's still going to be my face. It's still going to be my body. It's still going to be my health. It's me. I live with that for the rest of my life. I do something to my face that I don't like. I live with that for the rest of my life. I can never go back to the way I was before I did all of that. So before you start listening to other people, you need to use that analogy for your life. You need to use that analogy for your life. And again, I reiterate, my sister-in-law was not a hater towards me. She wasn't telling me these things to make me insecure or feel bad. As a matter of fact, I was just like, you're weird. Because one day she just was like, she had her eyes done. It was just weird. Why would you tell me this? She had her eyes done, right? A blepharoplasty. And she was like, she was in the process of healing. And she goes, yeah, do you like it? And I was like, well, it still looks swollen. I don't know what the end result will be, but it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. She goes, oh, I brought a picture of you to bring into my surgeon. I was like, you what? She goes, yeah. I told my surgeon I wanted eyes like yours. You're fucking weird. You're weird. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? And she goes, you have really pretty eyes. And I was like, okay. I gotta go. She goes, is that weird? I just called you weird. That's weird. That's weird. Her eyes didn't look like mine. She was just like, it's super weird. Yeah. So I tell you, when I tell you she wasn't hating on me, she literally was not hating on me. She wasn't. She wasn't. She was just trying to share her knowledge of procedures. Yeah. And she was never competitive with me. She never, it wasn't anything like single white female. It wasn't like that at all. But it was weird. I was like, what the fuck? I could have lived my whole life not knowing that. She goes, you're not. She goes, I would have thought you would have taken that as a compliment. No, no. Oh no, that was not a compliment. She meant it as a compliment. That's what she told me. She thought that I would be flattered. But no, she never copied me or anything like that. So no, never competed or anything. I was just like, no, that's not good. Okay, so you got to be careful of people who. It's almost like for some of you, the person that you're going to get all of this, you know, counsel from. I don't know why I use the word counsel. Advice, counsel, I don't know, same thing. These people or this person that you go to get counsel from, they don't have your best interest at heart. They're more focused on maintaining their status quo, right? I'm assuming they had already told you something in the past. And if you were to go forward with your decision now, then it would be like you're disregarding what they dictated to you before. So they're not a neutral observer at this point. Um, I shot with a woman recently that had her eyes threaded to look more slanted and up close. It was so disturbingly tight, and you could see the strings under skin. I sometimes wonder I sometimes wonder how they feel being able to feel that and see that every time they look in the mirror. I mean, that must be really sad for them. Like to have a certain level of expectation and the end result not be anywhere near the expectation. That would be devastating. I hope they feel pretty with it. I hope they don't notice the strings. I genuinely, I hope they don't notice the strings and they feel like prettier having done it. Um, so that at least they've gotten what they wanted, I guess. I don't know. That makes me so sad when people modify um modify themselves physically and then it doesn't, because I mean, how much pain or insecurity went into the making of that decision in the first place, right? And then so to already have that insecurity or that pain, and then to have it become something that's like now it's even worse. That's very sad. That's very sad. I don't know. Okay, second house owning. Wealth is the ability to truly experience life. You will own it. Okay. When this card turns up, it's time to concentrate on more practical issues. It's a time where you need to protect resources to manage those things you own in a mature and equitable way. When this card presents itself in a spread, it's about sowing seeds for a good harvest. It's time to build, accumulate, toil, and manage. You may be at a stage to take the beginning steps of opening your own business or embarking on a path that will not only enable you to realize your dreams, but could also make you a fortune in doing so. I need to create that damn listing already. So I think that's what I'll do after dinner. It will be soul-based business um, guidance. I have this little quirk. I have this little quirk where from a singular decision, I can see where your trajectory will flow to. I can see if it will be viable. I can see um, what type of details will help to support the coming to fruition of that end result, the mindset, all of this, all of that. I can see when decisions will take you down the wrong path and simply create financial liability for yourself. Um, One of the people that I've done this with, it was a friend. I like to celebrate his success. So he was gonna kind of throw in the towel. He went to another country to kind of meet with large corporations and see if they'd be willing to give him a chance. Um, and, COVID happened. They were going to shut down all the airports. And he had just arrived not long before that, maybe a couple weeks or so. And he reached out to me and he's like, should I go home? And I'm like, why would you do that? And he's like, well, because my mom's ignoring my messages. She was mad that he left the country to begin with. And he was worried that she wasn't okay and this and that. But I mean, they have a lot of family. And I said to him, If you go home now, before the airports close, you'll go home and your mom will be pissed at you for leaving. If you don't go home now, when you do go home, after you've made something out of yourself, she'll still be pissed at you for leaving, but you can buy her a ton of shit to smile over. You can pay all her bills. She can quit her job. You can buy her house. You can buy her a car. You can buy her whatever the hell she wants. She can still be pissed at you, but at least you've become something. He goes, so you think I should say? I'm like, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm saying those are the two pathways. If you leave now, you're going to continue to struggle. So he stayed. And then I think about 6 months later, it's only a few months, he messaged me to share that he'd been featured on Forbes. Forbes and CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, they were all featuring him. He did that. I didn't do that for him. He did that through his decision because he made a decision based on his knowledge of which trajectory he wanted. That's not the first time I've been able to do something like that for someone. Or I can give you a clarity as to which path will lead to what. You still have to make the decision. You still have to put in the work. But if you do, it'll turn out amazing. It's not hard to become financially stable. It's not. What you do with that financial stability is what creates issues with your perception of stability. That's what messes it up. What you do with it. So I'll make that available. I'll make the listing tonight. I keep saying that. I keep saying that. So it's not going to be a workshop. It's a one-on-one session. I can make available the soul-based business workshop where I give you all the tips and tricks as to how I built my social media corporation. That one, you could actually use quite a bit of that as well. There's so many ways in which you can turn the systems that were created to enslave you into a form of liberation. So many different ways. You could do a lot with it. You could do a lot with it. And it's not going to be in a way that you're going to just be another cookie cutter, another like influencer, or I show you how to make an authentic brand. Authentic brands has longevity. No one can replace you. It has longevity. You know how many people have tried to replace me? They can't because I'm me. Even if they were good enough to be like me, they will always still be several steps behind because they have to wait for me to talk about the things I talk about, do what I do, say what I say before they can do it too. I can never be replaced because my brand is an authentic brand. I can teach you that. I can teach you that. So that would be the soul-based business workshop. Yeah, I gotta go, guys. Please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Remember, tomorrow I'm going to be going live. I'm going to do the 555 Power Portal. It's a lunar event as well. And yeah, see you there. Ooh, 144.44.